at 12 o'clock to bring you a little touch of inspiration from the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. I want to start by saying that yesterday was the commemoration of Swami Kriyananda's, one of Yogananda's direct disciples and the founder of Ananda. It was the commemoration of what would have been his 95th birthday. And I just want to honor that without having met Swami Kriyananda. I would not have learned as much about the path of Paramhansa Yogananda, really discovered the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda, his guru, my guru, in this lifetime. So I'm eternally grateful and feel very blessed to have gotten to spend 43 years of my life learning from him, living not with him, but near him, and having him as a very, very, very dear friend. So I would like to start today by first playing a little segment of Yogananda's voice, just to give us a taste of that and what he is saying.
When we can make others our own, and you can't make others your own by any form of diplomacy. It is by the sincerity of your heart. As you know, relatives are imposed upon us, and we have to keep them if they are bad. But our spiritual relatives we can choose. And love and friendship can be only received as gifts. God comes to us as relatives to test us, but he comes to us as friends to give himself unto us. For in friendship, wherein we elect each other by the gift of the free choice of our hearts, we find the glory of God manifest. And never have I felt such a fellow feeling in the spiritual family in which I was born as I feel in this divine family. So this birthday is very significant to me.
Well, he says something that I'm going to describe here is very relevant to the reading today. We're on chapter or section 12, lesson 12, he calls it, of the Yogoda system in his original lessons. And it is called Occult Vision and Metaphysics of Cosmic Consciousness. Well, there is a very, very deep section following, and there's absolutely no way to give you just a little taste of it and have it represent the entire section. So I'm just going to concentrate on one little piece of it and let my husband Riemann continue tomorrow, because as we've said to you, these are not intended to be a comprehensive study of these. Instead, these noontime offerings are intended to be just a touch of inspiration from his teachings. So the section I want to concentrate on towards the beginning, he talks about I'll just read this first part to you. If the spirit is unknowable, there's no use in trying to know him. If he is knowable, then the question comes, how is he going to manifest himself in our consciousness? When we speak of spirit as the creative principle or truth, that doesn't get us anywhere. The spirit, in order to be real, must be real to us in a definite way. In other words, we must experience it for ourselves, not just intellectually understand it. To describe the spirit negatively, saying that he is neither mind nor intelligence, conception nor cognition, sense perception nor thoughts, sky nor earth, ego nor chitwa or feelings, does not describe him. By the negative method, it is impossible to explain him, meaning God, the divine. He is beyond conception, but that does not prove that he is not in conception. For if he is not in it too, he would not be omnipresent. And he continues just briefly, a few more sentences. Positively speaking of the spirit as ever new bliss, absolute consciousness, the absolute consciousness which knows only the present tense and is not suppressed or eclipsed by the past or future tenses. He is, and he knows that he is, and immortality or changelessness. Death is change, immortality is changelessness. We can conceive of this relation in which he may stand with us. By searching through all the motives of our actions, we find that we too are seeking eternal, ever new bliss, immortality, and everlasting consciousness. We are seeking everlasting bliss, and along with it are automatically seeking immortality and self-awareness, for without these, we cannot possess eternal bliss. This is an extremely deep topic. I can't possibly do it justice in just a few minutes, except to say a few things that he states in here, which is we cannot get there with the intellect. We cannot get there with reasoning. In order to experience divine bliss, to experience the eternal bliss, that connectedness, that cosmic, vast cosmic consciousness. Science has found that there are already billions of universes. And so, how can we possibly expand our consciousness to that except by attuning our consciousness to the divine consciousness and thereby merging in that bliss? All the great ones who have experienced it describe it as just the most relishable, the most exquisite, the most, there aren't words to describe it, the experience of merging into that oneness. You see, the intellect, the mind, it analyzes, it separates. The divine is unitive. And when we attune ourselves to that unitive consciousness, we merge with that, we dive into it, we swim in it, we merge in it. Towards the end of Swami Kriyananda's life, he was so overcome by bliss. He could barely speak. Often he couldn't speak at all. He just wept with joy. And he just kept saying, too much bliss, too much bliss. And it is beyond words, it is beyond the intellect. The Bhagavad Gita tells us that we cannot experience it through inaction. We must act. We must act with the divine, in concert with the divine, and thereby transcend that limited self-definition of the ego. Yogananda said the ego is the soul identified with the body, and symbolically that is identified with limited form, material form. We are a part of that cosmic consciousness. We are that. And in order to experience it, we must remove the layers in our consciousness that limit us, expand in the self-awareness, as the reading talked about this morning. Self with the capital S for the divine and not the small s for the limited ego, self-defined little self, but for the eternal self. And so the reading today, he sets the tone at the very beginning of this powerful and deep section that says that we approach the divine in that positive awareness of the infinite presence, and not by negating, not this, not that, not this, not that. Yes, it's true. Not this, not that, because this and that are just parts of it. God is omnipresent and eternal. That is what he talks about in this section, and my husband will continue on with it tomorrow. Joy to you and many, many blessings. Bye-bye now.